Hello and welcome back to the Budget Knitter podcast channel. My name is Will Spargur. I am your host. I am coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada, where I live with my two dogs, Princess and Duchess, and my husband. Today, we are going to do the second part of my yarn stash. So for those of you who are new, there is a part 1 to this yarn stash, so you can find that link in the video description box below. And also, if you are new, you can also find all of the places where you can find me, like Ravelry, Facebook, and Instagram. So those are all in the video description box below. So for those of you who know what's going on, and actually for those of you who don't, this mostly was all donated to me, so there's a lot going on here. And in the first video we did my fingering and sport weight yarns, which took a really long time because I have a lot of yarn. So anyway, I figured this time we would go to the opposite end of the spectrum and we would go over some of my bulkier weight yarns. Things that mostly are acrylic, but things that I tend to use for blankets or large, thick projects. Actually, like one of the blankets that I have currently on my bed, which is just a simple double crochet blanket, but it fits a queen size bed. So these are the yarns that I have for that, and so we're just gonna kind of jump right into those. I actually don't have too many, but some of them are different. Some of them I'd never heard of before. Some of them it might take me a minute to realize whether or not it's bulky because I've kind of got it in different places, and a lot of it I'm still kind of getting used to how to read ball bands. I found that a lot of kind of more luxury yarns don't tell you, oh, it's worsted weight or fingering weight. It gives you a gauge, and I haven't really quite figured out what all of those gauges are yet. I kind of rely on other people to tell me what it is. So let's just start up here. This is Bernat Blanket. You can find this at Michael's. You can find maybe Joann's? I think Joann's as well. You can find this on yarnspirations.com. This is a number 6. It's super bulky. It's 100% polyester. It is 220 yards, 201 meters. It's 300 grams. This color is country blue. I actually have 2 of these. One of them is actually currently being turned into a baby blanket. Or, well, part of it is being turned into a baby blanket. I have 2 women at my place of work who are both pregnant. One of them is due in about a month, and the other one is due in about 4 months. So I promised them both that I would make them a baby blanket, so we're working on that. But this is great because this is exactly what this is for. It's for a blanket. I have found that this is better to crochet than to knit. I don't like knitting it. I don't know why, but crocheting I tend to use, that's what I tend to do with this. It recommends a USL or an 8mm hook. I think I'm actually using a 10mm hook. I just like the bigger crocheting stitch. So I have 2 of those. Okay, I have no need to grab all of that off the top because these are the same yarns, and I actually have one of these in white as well. This is Bernat Softy Chunky. These came in massive, massive balls of yarn. I think they were 350 grams, which ended up being close to like 300 something yards. They were about this big when I got them, so this is about the same. But you know, they're huge, and I don't think. Oh, I do have a ball band. So Bernat Softy Chunky, 350 grams, 378 yards, or 346 meters, 100% acrylic. I have green, brown, and white. This is all they had. They were on clearance for $4 at Michael's. They don't make this size anymore. They do make Softy Chunky, but not in this size. So I was really lucky to have come across it when I did. I've got some of it going in my 10-stitch blanket, which I haven't touched in like a year, and then I've got bits and pieces of it in other things. So this is a great yarn. I tend to only grab this when I have larger projects, so that's why I still have so much of it. Oops. I have yarn strands hanging everywhere. Oh my goodness. Well, nobody said I was organized. Okay, so what I have over here is a couple different things. This is probably a size 5. It's definitely thicker than worsted weight, but it has no ball band, so I'm not really sure if this is wool or what this is. But it's a nice, like, dark red color. Then I have Woolies Thick and Quick. This is the colorway Charcoal, so I really like this. I only have one of these, actually. This is Oh, this ball band is not incredibly detailed. Oh. Well, it's 80% acrylic, 20% wool. It is 9mm or US 13 needles, or an N13 or a 9mm hook. So I guess this is probably a 5. Probably a 5. I don't know. But Woolies Thick and Quick of 1. Then I have Lion Brand Woolies Chunky, and I think this is also a 5. Maybe a 6. This calls for US 10.5s or 6.5mm, or a K 10.5 or 6.5mm hook. This is 80% acrylic, 20% wool, and this is black 153. I have 4 and this little bit left. I've been using this in actually this these scarf necklace things I've been making. I've been using this as kind of my neutral base. This is great. Bulky. Well, I guess this is probably a 6 then, since the gauge it calls for a bigger gauge, and this is probably the 5. But I have a few of those. I have a couple things that are probably about to fall out of that crate. This is Charisma by Loops and Threads in the colorway Electric Blue. I've actually used some of these in other projects. So I have 1 ball of this left. I think I got it on clearance for $1.99 at Michael's. It's 109 yards or 100 meters. It's 100 grams. It's a size 5, and it is... Oh, where is the composition? Oh, it's machine washable and dryable, which is great. I love machine washable and dryable. Where? Oh, 100% acrylic. I should have known that. Anyway, this is great. I love this stuff because you can use it for a lot of different things, but I have that. And then, oh no. I have crates, so I have things that keep getting caught in my crates. This is Marble Chunky. It's 200 grams. It's James C. Brett. They sell this at my local yarn store, and this was gifted to me, but it's 100% acrylic, and I think it's a size 5. But it's really hard to get to the... If I take this ball band out, this will fall apart, so I'm not going to do that. But I have this. Then I have a few things that I'm afraid to move. Like, I have On Live Linny 97 Iceland. This doesn't really give me much to go on. I think this is chunky. I think this is a 5. I don't know. It's all in metric, and some of this I'm not really sure. It doesn't make sense. So they're 50 grams each, and I have like 20 of these. So if you know what this is, please let me know, because I don't. I don't know what that is. What is this? Oh, Cascade Yarns Ecological Wool. This is a 5. I know that because I have a pattern that called for this, and I couldn't find it, but somebody gifted some to me. However, it's like 1/10 of the amount of yarn I need, which is fine. Not a big deal. So this is 250 grams, 437 meters or 478 yards. I guess it's a 5. It's not even really telling me gauge anywhere. It's 100% Peruvian Highland wool. So, woo! Okay. What is this? I think this is actually worsted weight. Yeah, that's worsted. So that's not for today. Oh, I guess I can... Yeah, I think a lot of this is chunky. There's a lot of things happening in here. Oh, okay, so I have a couple of other Bernat blanket yarns. These are going into the baby blankets. I'm not really going to... I don't feel like asking gender, because that can be a touchy question in 2018. So I'm just going to throw these into a blanket, and hopefully the mom doesn't get mad. I thought I had more. No, I guess that's... Okay, so I do have a few things. These are just balls of yarn that were gifted to me. There's no yarn label or anything. They're just balls of yarn, purple with purple glitter stuff. Then there's this big blue. I think this is Lion Brand. I think I remember this. And then I have this gold one. Oh, and what appears to be a little bit of pink. And I think that is actually it. I think that is, yeah, that looks to be the end of my bulky weight yarns. Oh, so I should probably put these back where I got them from. I'm not organized at all. I have yarn everywhere. Okay, so that is my bulky weight yarns. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have used any of these yarns or you're interested in more about these yarns, please let me know. I've actually used most of them, so I'll know a little bit about how they feel. But don't worry, there's going to be more yarn reviews coming up in the future too. So, but that's what I have in the bulky weight yarn. There are going to be more parts to this coming up in the future. So we're going to go through my DK weight and we will go through my worsted weight. And I think that covers all of my weights because I've done fingering and sport and I've done my bulkies. So my 5s and 6s. So I have 3s and 4s left. So there'll be 2 more parts to my stash video. Now the funny thing is, when I started filming these, I had some of this yarn still left. But I have since used some of it, especially in making these. I've used a lot of my weird yarns, or my bulky yarns. Ooh, there is one I want to show you because I made a scarf like this out of it, and I don't have the ball band, but I do think it's really cool and you can get it at Michael's. Okay, so it's this. Super chunky. I love this. This is so thick, and this is what makes a really great, very quick scarf if you know how to finger chain, which is what this is. So this I actually made for my husband and he loves it. And this yarn I think is maybe $3 or $4 per skein. It's great. This is just a really fun thing to use. So I had several balls of this, but I have since used it in making scarves just like this. So that is kind of the last thing I had in terms of my bulky weight yarns. Anyway, so thank you for tuning in for this. If you are a new person who has never seen anything on my channel before, go ahead and hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up because that helps me out so much. And be sure to stay tuned to see future stash videos, as well as yarn reviews and needle reviews, and my regular every 2-week podcast, except that there are going to be no more podcasts in the month of April, because I'm going to be out of town. So, actually by the time you're seeing this video, it is I'm probably going to be on vacation, so you're going to be seeing what I filmed a week after I filmed it. Or more. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you again very soon here on the Budget Knitted Podcast channel. And I will see you again in the month of May. Bye!